Okay, let's take a look at numbers 8 and 9. Again, what does it mean to have a factorial? So if I say 4 factorial, it just means take that number and multiply it by all the numbers less than it down to 1. So if I'm taking a look at number 8, 18 factorial would be 18 times 17 times 16 times 15, 14, 13, all the way down to 1. In the denominator, we have 20 factorial, which would be 20 times 19 times 18 times 17 times, all the way down to 1. Now, in this case here, because it's multiplication, something very nice happens. The 18s cancel, the 17s cancel, the 16s would cancel, the 15s, 14s, 13s, all the way down to the 1s. So what happens here is we have just a 1 on top, because nothing's left, but when we cancel, when we simplify in that way, they become 1s over 20 times 19. And for this, if you need a calculator, that's fine. Double 19 gives you 38. So if you put a 0 on that 2, that just makes it 1 over 380. All right, number 9. This is 2 times n factorial. So I'm going to have a 2 times. Now, what is n factorial? Well, that means take that number, which is n, multiply by the number that's 1 less than it. So how do you take a number that's 1 less than it? You just subtract 1. So n minus 1 would be the next number. N minus 2 would be the number before that, and so on and so forth, all the way down to 1. In the denominator, we have n plus 1 factorial. So again, that factorial means take this number, which is n plus 1, multiply it by the number before that. And again, we just subtract 1 to get the number before. So if we take away 1 from n plus 1, that gives us just n. Take away 1 from that gives you n minus 1. Take away 1 from that, and continue to take away 1 until you eventually get down to 1. And in these problems, the whole point is to simplify. So it's not to, completely multiply the numerators and denominators. So in this case, look for those common factors like n, n minus 1, n minus 2, all the way down. And when things simplify, it gives you just a 2 on the top and an n plus 1 on the bottom. All right, let's take a look at these four sums real quick. So find the sum here. Again, that sigma just means to sum. We're adding up a bunch of things that look like 4 times something. So just to give you kind of an idea, we're going to be adding 4 times something plus 4 times something plus 4 times something plus, and we're going to continue adding these. Now, what are we actually adding? Well, we're adding numbers that start with 2 and they go up to 5. So we're going to plug in 2, then we're going to plug in 3, then we're going to plug in 4, then we're going to plug in 5. Now I knew we were going to stop at 5, that's why I only drew 4 of these, but if necessary, we would do more. So 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 3 is 12. 16 and 20. So 8 and 12 give me 20, plus 20 is 40, plus 16 is 56. So here in number 11, we're going to plug in, let's see here, we're going to plug in 1 first, and then we're going to go all the way up to 4. So if I plug in 1, I get 6 over 1 squared plus 6 over 2 squared plus 6 over 3 squared plus 6 over 4 squared. So I get 6 over 1 plus 6 over 4 plus 6 over 9 plus 6 over 16. At this stage in the game, I would have 0 issues, 0 problem with you using a calculator to do this. So At that point, you would get 205 over 24. You could give me the decimal version. I just don't have that written down right here. For these next two, I would not have you write out. You would actually write out 51 terms since we're starting with 0 here. I would never have you write that out and have to add that up by yourself. So these questions here would be designed to use just a calculator. And again, I think you can tell based on the problem whether I would need you to do it out by hand or not. Number 10 was straightforward, nice and easy. Number 11, it was only 4 terms, but it got into fractions, so I don't mind to jump to the calculator. So again, if you have a TI 84, we're going to go down to math, and it is option 0 is the summation. And here I always use x as the variable, so we're going from x equals 0 to 50 of, and it's what, x squared plus 3, so x squared plus 3, and we hit an enter, and I get 43,078. Now, if you don't have a TI, I do not have an issue with you using Desmos either as a the web-based version if you're using your Chromebook, or on your phone using your using your phone. I don't really have an issue using other math software if that's the one that you're familiar with. Just make sure again that on the problems where you can do the work, then you need to be the one doing the work, not the calculator. Right. Same thing here. There's 8 terms. I wouldn't mind if you wrote them. 8 would be the plugging in. Sorry, plugging in 1 gives me 1 over. This would be 1 plus 1 is 2. Then I plug in 2, and we get 2/3, and these should be pluses in here. But again, that's writing out 8 terms. It's just a bunch of math that I don't really have an issue with you going ahead to use a calculator on. Okay. And the final term, if I plug in 8, I get 8 over 9. So I would not have an issue with you jumping right to your calculator, hitting math is 0. The sum from x equals 1 to 9 or to 8. Get this right here eventually. And then I'm going to hit the fraction button. Wow. And we have x over x plus 1. And we get 15,551 over 2520. And then if you want, gives you 6.17 as a decimal. All right, I'm going to stop this video here.